Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MOACAC program for the University of Tulsa. Just want to go over a couple quick points for you. We are using a webinar setting, so your video and your microphone are muted and not on. The presenters will not be able to see or hear you. All of your questions will be submitted through the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. The session is being recorded and it is available on the MOACAC website. And with that being said, I will let our presenters begin.
Thank you, Susan, and thanks so much for joining us for the University of Tulsa session for Missouri students. My name is Teresa Bont, and I've been with the University of Tulsa Office of Admission for 17 years. I work out of my home office in St. Louis, Missouri, and I work with the students in and around the St. Louis area, including St. Charles County and the Metro East in Illinois. If you could list in the chat, in the Q&A, there's no chat feature, but there's a Q&A feature. If you could list your first name and where you're from, it will be really interesting for us to see who is joining us this evening. And also, please feel free to pose any questions in the Q&A box, and we'll do our very best to get to them during the presentation, or we'll follow up with you after this evening. My colleague Hannah Smith is joining me this evening as our two TU students. They're both sophomores from Missouri. And I'm going to let each of them introduce themselves briefly to you now, and then Hannah will jump right into our presentation. Our students will share more information about their own TU stories after Hannah provides some quick facts about the University of Tulsa. So with that, I'll turn it over to Hannah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Smith, as Teresa said. I also serve students in Missouri. I serve basically all the students outside of St. Louis and St. Charles County, including all of Kansas City, mid-Missouri, and then southern Missouri, Springfield, and Joplin. So I am a TU alumna. I graduated in 2016 with a degree in psychology, and I double minored in marketing and women's and gender studies. And I started this job in admission right after I graduated from TU in 2016. So I'm going on my 5th year here at TU, helping prospective families and students like yourselves through the college search process. So excited to be here with you tonight and tell you a little bit more about the University of Tulsa. I will hand it over to Blake if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Blake Krismer from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm currently majoring in business and law on the 3-in-3 track. So it's an accelerated program for the law school. I'm also minoring in economics, international business with a focus on Chinese and law policy and social justice.
Hi, my name is Asa Scott. I'm a sophomore from Springfield, Missouri. I saw a couple of you in the Q&A are from Springfield, so nice representation. I'm a double major in political science and chemistry with a minor in history. I'm also on the pre-law track.
Awesome. So we're hoping that the students can kind of talk more about kind of the student life side of things. And as we talk through kind of the fast facts and things like that of programs and things that you might expect as a Tulsa student, hopefully they can tell you firsthand their experience. So moving straight into our presentation. So just to kind of give you a brief overview of who we are at the University of Tulsa. We are a small liberal arts private institution. We do have about 3,200 undergraduates at TU. We also have some graduate programs and some PhD programs on campus. So our total student population is about 5,000. You'll hear student faculty ratio and average class size a lot in your college search journey, I'm assuming. But why should we be worried about these numbers? Well, really, we think that that is really indicative of the student experience that you're going to be able to get at these different institutions. And at TU, our student faculty ratio is 11:1. And so what that means is you're going to get a really individualized college experience and academic experience, getting to know your professors really well. Your professors get to know you as a student, but also as a person with passions and goals. And they're going to be able to help you kind of work through all of the opportunities and resources that you need to be able to achieve your goals post-grad. And then that 94% placement rate, that's something that we're really proud of. That to us says that we're preparing our graduates really well to go on to meet their goals, whatever that is after their undergraduate career, be that a graduate or professional school or going straight into the workforce. And then over there, you'll see Goldie, our canine ambassador. She's a real life golden retriever that comes to campus, comes to work every single day. And really her main job is just to make people happy on campus. She's very cute. She's a campus celebrity. She has her own Instagram at Tulsa Goldie if you want to go follow her. But her main jobs are leading the football team out on the field on game days. She takes the tee, so after the kickoff, she'll run onto the field and take the tee, bring it back to the sidelines for us. So very useful as well as cute. So right now I will hand it over to Blake and Asa. If you just want to kind of go into a little bit more depth, maybe share with these students why you chose the University of Tulsa, share a little bit about your college search journey, and kind of what you found as a current student. What opportunities are you taking advantage of? What do you love about the University of Tulsa? And then we can kind of get in on the nitty gritty here. So Blake, do you want to go first?
Yeah, for sure. So when I was looking at schools during my junior and senior year of high school, I was really only in between two, and that was Tulsa and Baylor University down in Waco, Texas. And I had toured the schools on 2 days apart, and that spring break. And when I had toured Tulsa, unfortunately, it was still cold during that time. It was raining. And I got to learn all the amazing things that Tulsa encapsulates, all the academics, all the opportunities. I thought, wow, this is a really great place I could be at. And I went down to Texas, which at that time of year, it's the nicest thing ever. So like, oh wow, this is where I want to go. And so I kept on looking up more about Baylor than I did Tulsa, unfortunately. And then I got into both schools, and Tulsa's financial aid actually outweighed Baylor's. And I started looking more at Tulsa, and I just researched more and more and realized everything that I could have missed out if I hadn't done that research. So coming to TU, I have had no regrets whatsoever. I've had so many opportunities. I'm involved in Tulsa's University Ambassadors Program, so I'm one of those individuals that be giving tours. I'm part of Future Alumni Council, TU Global Network, and Greek Life. So Tulsa's just opened up so many doors for me. And I know that Asa could definitely say the same.
Yes, I'll pick that up. Agreed. Yes, I certainly can say the same. I remember when I was first looking for colleges, starting probably my junior year, and of course moving into my senior year. I kind of had the polar opposite experience of, like, actually, I had not narrowed it down whatsoever. I had a plethora of universities starting in my junior year, just because there's stuff that stood out, about every university essentially. But what ended up really, as far as Missouri goes, there was a number of Missouri, like, your usual suspects, University of Missouri, Washington University in St. Louis, etc. But what really stood out about Tulsa, and the reason why I ultimately really became driven to pursue education at Tulsa, is because I was basically treated like just a number at most every other university. I'm sure a lot of you can probably attest to the fact that some universities, whenever you're touring, will just, throw you in a group, and you'll have like one person that leads you around and kind of talks to your group. And then at the end, maybe you'll get some kind of email correspondence. But at Tulsa, every interaction I had was really personal. My first tour, when I was only a junior in high school, so I was a nobody at that point. I remember getting the opportunity to talk to 2 or 3 faculty members at that time, one of which was the assistant dean of the business school, which, if you heard my majors, you'd understand that I had no interest in studying business. And nevertheless, the assistant dean agreed to meet with me. And he talked to me about all of the opportunities that I would have as an IB student, because another very big driving factor at the University of Tulsa is how friendly they are with IB and AP credit. It's a great way to get jump started. But I got to talk to with the person that ran the honors program here, the person that ran the Global Scholars program, and of course people in the political science program, which was one of my most interested fields at that time. And it was really amazing just how much personal correspondence I got with everybody when I showed up on the university. The tour I got was very personal to me. I had my tour guides. personally asking me questions throughout the way and pointing out buildings that may be interesting to me. And then my admissions counselor, who is Hannah Smith in this meeting, was very friendly and very open with me. Actually followed up through personal phone calls more than once, just to, check in with me, make sure I was doing all right. Not necessarily to even like sell me on the university, but just to make sure that, my college search was going well and that I was, just staying in there, hanging in there. And what ultimately brought me was just that sense of, really like being a person, essentially, like they like being meaningful for who I am and not for, my stats, my numbers. Just like how it's often easy to look at universities for their numbers. I mean, we did it ourselves just a second ago, showing numbers. But the real thing that stands out about universities is like how you really can interact and how they really like make you feel, the interactions you have with other people. And I can definitely attest that the University of Tulsa has been fantastic. There's been a lot of, amazing opportunities I've had with other people. Like Blake, I'm also a university ambassador, so you may see me giving tours. I'm also involved in student association very heavily. I have an opportunity to get involved or to, directly involve giving funding to our organizations and running some of the big events that you may see, like Homecoming, which is famous for the bonfire that you can see from quite a far distance away. And there's stuff like Greek Live and Future Alumni Council and TEDx and a bunch of other stuff that I can't even name right now because there's just so many opportunities get involved, and just like, having weekend nights with some friends and stuff. It's a very personal environment, and there's almost nobody that I don't pass by on the Tulsa streets that like I don't smile at and they smile back. Of course, that's a little harder with masks now, but you can always see the eye smile, right? And that's ultimately what drove me to the university. And what's been reinforced ever since I've been there as well.
Awesome. So thank you both for sharing kind of a little bit about your experience. And we definitely want you to chime in as we kind of talk about these different areas about life at TU. But I'll just jump in. So earning your degree. So we do have 4 undergraduate colleges at the University of Tulsa. We have the College of Health Sciences, the College of Arts and Sciences, the College of Business, and then the College of Engineering and Natural Sciences. So we have about 60 different degree plans that span those 4 different undergraduate colleges. I think one of the reasons why I was drawn to the University of Tulsa, and the thing that I loved the most about life at TU in terms of the academic sense, was that you really got the freedom to pursue what you wanted to academically. And so even though you were housed in one of these 4 undergraduate colleges, you really were given the freedom to bounce between the different colleges. So if you remember me hearing me say, I got a degree in psychology, which was housed in arts and sciences. I got another minor within the arts and sciences, but then jumped over to business and got a minor in marketing as well. So I was able to pursue all of those 3 different degree plans and still graduate with relative ease and taking the classes that I wanted to. I know ASA has a similar kind of really interdisciplinary approach to the majors and the minors that you choose, and being able to pursue all of those different things are really important to our students. Also very important is, eating and sleeping on campus. So life on campus, we do require our freshmen and sophomores to live on campus and have a meal plan with the university. So starting your freshman year, there are 5 different dorms available to students, and those come in kind of all different shapes and sizes based on your personal preference. So you could be in an all freshman dorm if you really want to make sure that students around you are in the same boat, trying to make friends, trying to acclimate to college life. That all freshman is a community style dorm. We also have all male, all female community style dorms, and we have a couple suite style options for students as well to take advantage of. We do have 1 cafeteria on campus that your meal plan will go through. And then as pictured here, you see our student union house all of our alternate dining options that you can use your dining dollars at. So over there, there's a Pizza Hut, there's a Chick-fil-A, Baja Jack's, Einstein Brothers Bagels, Sushi Blue, made to order pasta, which is my personal favorite, made to order salads and wraps. So lots of things to explore on campus. And then just off campus as well, we'll kind of go over the city of Tulsa, but there's a lot to take advantage of restaurant-wise right off of campus as well.
And there are plenty of opportunities for hands-on experiences or hands-on learning at the University of Tulsa, whether it's through faculty-mentored research or pro bono work with local nonprofits, community service, professional internships, academic competitions. There are just lots of different ways our students are experiencing that hands-on learning at TU. Pictured here on this slide is the MADE at TU team. MADE is an acronym. It stands for Make a Difference Engineering, and it's the team of TU students along with two of the kiddos they served last year. These were two kids they were partnered with through a local organization in Tulsa. And they're siblings actually, they both were born with limb differences, which made it nearly impossible for them to be able to ride a bicycle. And that's something that, you know, we hope all kids get to experience at some point. So our team of students met with the family, met with the students, tried to figure out what kind of adaptability devices they could create for the bicycles that they picked out, and that's clearly what they're doing at the store there, to be able to allow them to ride a bike like any kid should be able to do. So this is one of many different hands-on experiences that our students can have. Students do not have to be mechanical engineering majors to be able to participate in Make a Difference Engineering, although it is housed in that department. But that is one of many things that our students can do for hands-on experiences, hands-on projects. One of the students, the girl who's the second from the left, is from St. Louis. She is a recent graduate of the University of Tulsa. This was just from this past year's opportunity or project. And she was a senior. She graduated in May. She is from St. Louis, went to Coriezu Academy. So that could be you in a couple of years at the University of Tulsa. And as far as getting involved and succeeding, that is the way to succeed, is to get involved at any college that you attend. Jump right in, get involved in the different organizations. Blake and Asa are both sophomores at the University of Tulsa. I'm amazed at all they're doing already. And their freshman year essentially got cut short in March with COVID-19 and everybody had to go home. So even with COVID and they're leaving in March and having to do virtual learning from that point on, from the spring semester, they're still super engaged and involved at the University of Tulsa and making a difference already in their own college experiences and for our campus community as well. There are over 200 student organizations on campus. They're centered around anything from student government to Greek life, campus ministries, music, professional or honor societies. We have 20 multicultural student organizations on campus. There are plenty of different ways that you can get involved. And of course, we want you to jump right in and do that right when you begin at TU. There's a student activities fair at the beginning of the school year where you can find out all of the different opportunities. We also are a member of NCAA Division I sports. We have 17 different sporting events, intercollegiate sporting events, and all students have free access to the games, just showing their student ID to access the athletic events on campus for free. And of course, we have lots of intramurals, sports, and club activities as well, club sports as well. So on to the next slide. So I want to talk about our student success team. And Blake, I'm going to call on you in here just a minute about your path last year and changing your major a couple of different times, or more than a couple of different times. But TU truly is committed to the holistic success of each student. Last year, we had a pilot program. All students who came into our College of Engineering and Natural Sciences were assigned a student success coach. And it was a pilot program all year to see what was working, what do we need to tweak. And this year, every student, every incoming freshman and transfer student is paired with a student success coach. And that coach is a resource for our students to be able to say, I don't know where to go for this answer. I'm going to ask my student success coach. They may not have the answer, but they're going to help me find the resources on campus so that I can find the answer. We have lots of different places where students are feeling that support, whether it's just the student success coaches themselves, through academic advisors, peer and alumni mentors. Every student has these resources on campus for career and professional development coaches, and health and financial well-being advisors. So all of these teams on campus, and we're working together to help support the students so that they can make the most of their college experience. The student success coaches meet with students once a week in a class, so it's in a group setting, so every student is in an orientation class and they meet with their student success coach once a week, and then once a month individually. So they have one-on-one meetings with their student success coaches. And sometimes it's because the students need help or need to figure out where things are, but other times it's just the student success coach will cheer you on and say, I want to help celebrate your successes that you've had. So they'll help them articulate their imagined futures, and then they'll help them figure out a way to make that imagined future happen and make the most of their experience on campus. One of the things though is about the majors, figuring out what your major is. A lot of students come in undecided, and that student success coach can certainly help with that. But I want Blake to share his story because he came in not undecided. He came in totally committed, biology pre-med, and you can tell your story about where that path took you and why you are in the majors and minors you have now.
Yeah, so I came in as you said, a biology and pre-med major. Since then, I have changed my degree plan a whopping 8 times. So yeah, I started bio pre-med, and I love biology. I was good at it. But the chemistry and some of the mathematical pursuits, they just weren't for me. And so I was also a Chinese major as well. I was interested in Chinese. I took it in high school. And so I was trying to figure out, where should I go from here? And so I met with my student success coach, and she's just trying to get a gauge of where I was at, what I was interested in. And we came to the conclusion that, international business would be a great transition from the ENS school to the Collins College of Business. And she got me in touch with all the Career Center faculty, so the people that kind of set you up for internships and your jobs in the future. And she also put me in contact with all the new counselors. So it's just a super easy transition from the first few months of school in one college and going straight to another one within a matter of days, really. So yeah, she was just very supportive of me and helped me out just with that whole transition. It was really helpful.
Thank you, Blake. Hannah, do you want to take it from here? For the next slide, sorry.
So as I mentioned earlier, we have a great city that surrounds our university. So a little bit about Tulsa. We're a city of about 400,000, about 1 million in the metro area. So we're the second largest city in the state of Oklahoma, located kind of in the, y'all should know since you're from Missouri, right along the Missouri border. But we have a lot to take advantage of in our city, right around campus, like I mentioned earlier, but also, kind of in the broader city. So we have a really thriving art scene in the city of Tulsa. We have 2 world-renowned art museums, the Philbrook and the Gilcrease. The Gilcrease Museum is actually owned through a partnership with the city of Tulsa and the University of Tulsa. So our students get a great perk in that they get free admission to the Gilcrease Museum, and actually the Philbrook grants free admission for TU students as well. So the Gilcrease is also known for having the largest collection of Western or Native American art in the world. So it's an awesome collection. At any given time, they're showing about 5% of their total collection. So they're constantly changing stuff out. And so every single time you go, you can see something new and something different. We also have an arts district. We actually have multiple arts districts throughout the city, but downtown, we have the Tulsa Arts District that hosts the First Friday. So the First Friday Art Crawl, there's the galleries are free and open admission for people to come in and enjoy the art displayed there. There's also street performers and live music and tons of, free food and things like that down at this First Friday Art Crawls down in downtown Tulsa. So that's something that is awesome to take advantage of as a TU student. Downtown Tulsa is just about 3 miles from our campus. And so it's really accessible for students to be able to get downtown and enjoy the art scene in the city. We also have a really thriving music scene in the city of Tulsa. So pictured here is the BOK Center. This is kind of our large arena where the big acts come. So any genre, you're seeing kind of all types of acts come through. So I saw Elton John here a couple years ago. He came through on his Goodbye Yellow Brick Road tour. Travis Scott did his Astroworld tour through Tulsa. There's been Carrie Underwood came in October, Coldplay, so all kinds of genres. Justin Bieber is coming in 2021 if you're into that sort of thing. So lots of different acts coming to the BOK Center. And then we have some smaller venues kind of sprinkled throughout the city. Historic Cain's Ballroom is located in downtown Tulsa that have an array of different acts, similar to the BOK, kind of all genres. But typically it's kind of like lesser known bands that you can find an easy $20, $25 ticket to and get down there. And then also the Tulsa Theater has a lot of acts that come through there as well. And Teresa, I know there was something about Tulsa being featured in Rolling Stone. Do you want to mention that?
Sure. Yes, I do want to mention that. I just need to find exactly what it was. It was earlier this year. It was in January of this year. The city of Tulsa was featured in Rolling Stone magazine for a place. Let me see if I have it. Oh my goodness. Sorry. I know I have it somewhere. I'm not finding it in my notes. It was talking about a place where live music is exploding, and one of like 12, I think it was 12 cities in the country that you should visit where live music is exploding. And yeah, I don't have exactly what their quote was. It was talking about barroom jamming it was a hot place to be. So it was a really great, exciting thing. And I'm sorry, I don't have that in my notes right now.
That's okay. I'm sorry I put you on the spot.
That's okay. No worries. No worries. So I do want to talk a little bit about the distance between Tulsa and some of the cities in Missouri. So St. Louis, where I'm located and where Blake is from, it's just about a 5.5-hour drive. It's a straight shot down I-44 from St. Louis. You would travel through Rolla, which is about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes or so from St. Louis. And then Springfield, which is from St. Louis, is like 3.5 hours. And then Joplin, which is about 4.5 hours, or 4 hours and 45 minutes. And then right into Tulsa. So every like hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, it seems like you have a decent sized city. You know, you go through St. Louis, Rolla, Springfield, Joplin, right into Tulsa. It's a super easy drive. Southwest Airlines also flies directly between the two cities. So if you really want to get home for a special family occasion, you certainly can. It's far enough away that you're not going to do that every weekend, nor do we want you to do that every weekend. I mean, you really should stay on campus and enjoy your campus experience. But if you want to get home, or if your parents want to come down for an event on campus, it's not too far away to do that. And Asa, I know you're from Springfield, so which is a little bit closer. What is that like for you going back and forth between the two cities?
About 2 hours and 45 minutes. So the way I always like to think of it is, you know, if I want to go home and see my parents, then I'm always welcome to. If I want to not do that and, you know, have a healthy distance where I don't have to, you know, worry about my parents just, you know, knocking down my door, then I've got the distance there. So really it's all in my control. But, you know, that aside, it is really nice because I get to, you know, visit my family whenever I like want to pretty regularly, or at least, you know, back last semester, I went like every like 3 weeks or so. But I could always like take more or less if I wanted to. I like that. It's kind of the distance, the perfect distance I was looking for, about 3 hours, because it's close enough I can go home when I want to, but not close enough that I have an obligation to do so.
Oh yeah, that's a nice way to put it. No obligation to do so. Okay. So about the city of Tulsa, just going on for sport. So there are several minor league sports teams in the city of Tulsa. The Tulsa Drillers baseball team, the One Oak Stadium is downtown, and they often have discounted tickets for TU students, or even free nights. Sometimes our student association will get some free tickets for our students to be able to go. And that's a really fun, entertaining evening. It's not just about baseball. If you've ever been to a minor league baseball game, it's very much about the atmosphere and creating fun things to do in between innings. And anyway, it's a fun night, and fireworks happen, I think, on Friday night games. So very fun to do that downtown. The Roughnecks are our soccer team. We have an Ice Oilers team, and actually they compete in the BOK Center that's shown there under the music section of that slide. Tulsa Tough is a really fun event. It's an international cycling event. It's in June every year. Of course, it was canceled this year due to COVID. But one year, it's been in existence for about 15 years. I think I've been to the last 8 of them. I travel down to Tulsa. I just always happen to do it that weekend. It's a really fun event. And one year the slogan was, it's like the Tour de France, but in Tulsa. So it is, it's very cool. And then attractions. There are several different things to do in Tulsa. We have an aquarium. We have this green space downtown called the Guthrie Green, where everything there is free, and they'll have yoga classes, and they'll have the symphony perform some nights, and they just have different activities on Guthrie Green, always free to the public. Guthrie Green is what is pictured here on the attraction slide. It opened in 2018. It's a public park in the city of Tulsa, but it was created due to a $465 million private gift to the city of Tulsa to fund its construction. It's the largest private donation to a public park in US history. It's been named on several different lists in USA News and Time Magazine. The one that I really like is the one in 2019. It made National Geographic's list of 12 mind-bending playgrounds around the world. It's a really cool spot that I hope that you won't miss when you're visiting TU to check it out in the city. It's hard to describe, but I will describe for the people who are in St. Louis. If you are familiar with the City Museum, I try to describe it as like if the City Museum and Forest Park got together, this is what would be the result, is the gathering place. It's an outdoor experience with lots of hands-on interactive exhibits, and it's not just for kids, it's for all ages. So I hope you'll check it out. Blake and Asa, have you been there? And how would you describe it?
I have. So because of restrictions currently around campus and in the gym, I actually go along Riverside right by there and run. So I go there quite a lot. And I went there last year for this TU Service Day. We did some landscaping stuff there, and it's super nice. I unfortunately haven't been able to go just for leisure, but very, very, very nice.
I actually was just there 2 days ago. I don't know if any of you followed the admissions Snapchat, but I took over the admissions Snapchat and did a little tour of Tulsa, if you will. So hit a few, hot spots. One of them was Guthrie Green. Another one, which was my first time at Guthrie Green, actually. It's beautiful. And then another one was, of course, the gathering place. And I don't know. I feel like I've only seen like 20% of it because it's just so massive. I just never spend enough time to just go around the whole thing. So one of these days I'm just gonna have to devote like a 9-hour block of time to just really involve it.
Maybe you should. It's a very cool spot. And I'll mention that all of the things that we were talking about are within a 10-minute drive of campus. I mean, it's just, Tulsa's not so large that it's just a crazy amount of traffic to get anywhere. It's truly 10 minutes to Guthrie Green, or 8 minutes to Guthrie Green, 10 minutes to the gathering place, and all of the things downtown and the different museums that Hannah mentioned, all within a 10-minute drive. So Hannah, I'll let you take it over to talk about applying.
Yes. So hopefully we've sold you all on applying for admission to the University of Tulsa. So we've got a couple different options in terms of submitting your application. So we do have our online Tulsa U application, and then we're also members of the Common App. For those that aren't familiar with the Common App application is kind of a standardized college application that hundreds of schools nationwide are members of. So if you're interested in applying to multiple member schools of the Common App, it makes it really easy. It kind of takes some of the monotony out of the application process and filling out your name and your address over and over and over again on different college applications. So we show no preference over students that are applying via that Tulsa U application, our online application, or the Common App. It's whatever is most convenient for you. And then for fall 2021 and spring 2021, we are test optional, as a lot of schools are moving towards. So that means that we are not going to require your ACT or SAT scores to complete your application for admission and be considered for admission and scholarships to the University of Tulsa. So after you submit your application, either that Tulsa U application or the Common application, the only thing additional that we will ask for to complete your application for admission is your official high school transcript. And we do work off of your weighted GPA to assess for admission and scholarships And we'll also look at your courses and your course rigor, making sure that you're taking the hardest classes available to you, that you're challenging yourself in the high school, so that we know that you're prepared for a college classroom. As I said, we are test optional, so you can choose to submit your ACT or SAT score if you have one and you're proud of it and you want to submit it as part of your application. But on the application for admission, it says, do you wish to have your scores considered? And you can say yes or no. And you can change your mind. So if you say no when you submit your application and then you get a test back that you're really proud of, you can then change your mind and say, yes, I do want my scores considered, and send those in to us after the fact. A couple of things that are optional as part of your application for admission, but that we highly encourage are a talk with Tulsa. So this basically is an admission interview, or really just a personal conversation, 20-minute, 30-minute conversation with your admission counselor, either me or Teresa, just to kind of sit down with you and get on the same page of what you're looking for in a college experience, and making sure that TU has those opportunities that you're wanting to get involved in. And then also it gives you some of our undivided attention, so then you can fire any questions at us that you have at that point in the process. So that talk with Tulsa can be really helpful at any point, today or tomorrow, I guess. We could talk about application. We could talk about, next steps. After you're admitted to the university, we could talk about special programs that you might be well suited for, that you should apply for, additional scholarships that you should apply for. If it's later on in the spring, after you have your TU financing plan, and you want to talk real dollars and cents about, okay, how much is it going to cost to get a TU education? We're more than happy to sit down with you and have a talk with Tulsa with you at that point to make sure that we're all on the same page, and you know what you're signing up for. If it's way later on in spring and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to make this decision, but I have so many questions, let's sit down and talk about your options, and get your questions answered about TU, and the nitty-gritty of like what life is going to look like for you as a TU student. So that talk with Tulsa can be really helpful, like I said, really at any point in the process. Another optional piece of your application for admission that you can choose to submit are any letters of recommendation. So this adds a little bit of life to your application. It tells us a little bit more about you. So these can come from a teacher, a counselor, a coach, a director, a mentor, a family friend, someone that knows you as a person, knows you as a student, and can kind of speak to how you contribute to your community around you and how that is going to impact our campus culture at the University of Tulsa. Did I miss anything about applying, Teresa?
So I don't know, did you talk about November 1st?
Oh, no. So yes, the timeline. So we do have a November 1st priority deadline. If you start your application before November 1st, we'll waive the $50 application fee. And then the next deadline throughout the timeline is January 15th. So January 15th is going to be our priority consideration for scholarships. And that's also when our special programs application is due. So through that special programs application, you can apply for our honors program, our global scholars program, our presidential scholarship, our early careers in community medicine program, or our leadership TU program.
Okay, so I hope that if you haven't been on campus, that you'll have the opportunity to visit campus and actually be on campus and experience it in person. Of course, you may not be able to do that because of COVID, because your time away is so limited, and we understand that. We have plenty of opportunities for you to experience TU virtually in addition to this presentation. All of the in-person as well as the virtual opportunities can be found on our website at that link that's listed above, utulsa.edu/visit. And there you can find information about academic webinars. That's when our faculty members are presenting about their particular programs, and there are live events, and you can interact with the professors and ask questions. They are all recorded, so if you miss one, or if you just go to the website and you see it after the fact, you can at least see the recording and always reach out to faculty members with additional questions. We have panels. In fact, we have one coming up this week on Thursday night about financial aid. We have one tomorrow night, a Meet Your Admission Counselor session, and and going over just the admission process, admission 101. So we have all kinds of opportunities. You can also connect with a university ambassador. So you could fill out a form that says connect, and you will just fill out a form and say, you know, who you want to meet, whether it's somebody who's in the pre-med program or somebody who's doing global scholars or whatever it is, and we'll find that match for you. You can connect with a faculty member that way as well. So lots of different ways that you can connect to see if TU feels right for you. Asa said earlier, talking about like looking at statistics, and that's how you kind of start a college search. And I want to point out that at the bottom of this slide is the main part of our campus, the main entrance. It has a lot of different accolades that Tulsa has been featured in, and we're really proud of those. And it's a great way for you to start a college search. And you know, you might find a college through these ways, but it's not a way to finalize your decision. And that is through utilizing the different resources available to you, visiting, whether it's in person or virtually, and just seeing if it feels right. As I said, you can certainly start with these different accolades. I mean, one of the ones that we were just featured in, we were excited about, is the Princeton Review's Best 386 Colleges. We've been in this publication every year for as long as I can remember. It's only, you know, we're one of only 13% of the four-year colleges in the US that are included. This year, two of the things students say they love about TU is the small classes and then the faculty members who go the extra mile. So I mean, we're excited about that, and we should be excited, and you should be excited when you see that and you're conducting your college search. But is it a way to make a final decision? Probably not. So we hope you'll take advantage of the opportunities to get to know us a little bit better, and I hope you'll take advantage of the opportunity for us to get to know you too through those Talk with Tulsa opportunities that Hannah mentioned. Hannah, if you want to go to the next slide. It has our contact information. So as Hannah and I both said, we are the admission counselors for the state of Missouri. So I cover St. Louis and St. Charles area, and Hannah covers everything else. So that's our contact information. We are your point of contact. We are the ones who are reviewing your admission files and presenting your files to the admission committee for decisions. We serve as your advocate, and we serve as a resource for you. So please feel free to reach out. I'd love to turn it over to Blake and to Asa one last time just to ask if they have any last minute pieces of advice for the students who are going through the college search process.
Yeah, just to reiterate what I said in my introduction, make sure, no matter how many schools you're applying to, make sure you're looking at them all equally. Don't focus on one over the other just like because the weather was nice on your tour like I did. Make sure you're equally looking at all of them because you can miss something that's a critical thing that you want in your college experience.
My advice is always talk to people. So whenever you're searching for a college, again, what really gives you the feel of that college's environment is the people that you talk to. If you're talking to somebody and they're like just deadpan going, yeah, our college is pretty great, chances are you get the idea. But what I'm saying is just like make sure that you're like getting a feel for like the people that you're going to be spending 4 years of your life with, right? I mean, there's, you know, certain groups of people that people are more comfortable around and vice versa. So just talk to as many people as you can. And I think that will really help make a objective decision.
Thanks to both of you for joining us this evening. I did see one question in the chat. I just want to point out that we had a question asking how many majors we have. There are about 60 different majors. That's right, Hannah, correct? I want to confirm about 60 different majors across 4 colleges. You can have an interdisciplinary major. You can have a major in one college, a minor in the other. There are lots of different combinations you can see just from the 2 students who are on the meeting here today. So lots of different opportunities at the University of Tulsa. So any last comments, Hannah, that you'd like to make? We're about out of time here. No, okay, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see, I have some last comments. I think that you can see that here. So I just want to say thank you so much on behalf of Missouri ACAC for joining us. When you exit, there's going to be a quick survey. It's a 4-question survey that will appear. So we would appreciate your feedback. I would love it if you would sign up for more sessions. If there are other colleges of interest to you or other opportunities, they're all on moacac.org. This event was recorded, and this one will be available probably either later tonight or tomorrow. So you can look for the recording as well as all kinds of recordings from other sessions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and just thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate your being here. we hope to see your application. We hope to, we look forward to getting to know you and to welcoming you to the TU Golden Hurricane family, the Rain Cane.